Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I got a neat little toy quadcopter to take a look at. This is the KY608. What's unique about this is this little foldable Wi-Fi FPV drone has LEDs on the props here. And these are powered by little button cell batteries in the top, which you turn on these little switches, which I'll show you guys in a moment. But they're not powered by the internal LiPo, so they're powered separately. But this is just a little foldable drone otherwise that looks pretty cool, and the LEDs are going to be a nice little added touch for this guy. Now, I'm not going to do a table review on this guy. I got everything here with me, so I'm just going to go over everything here outside, and then we're going to make like a two-part flight review because these LEDs, and let's fold the arms out and let me show you guys. Even though the battery is not inserted, obviously it doesn't matter because the LEDs on the props are powered by these little button cell batteries. So if I turn it on, you have to turn each one of them on, this little switch with your fingernail there. I don't think it's going to be super visible during the daytime. So what I'm thinking there, you guys should be able to see that. When it spins, obviously there, it's going to make a circle, a bunch of circles in blue and red. So it's not going to be as visible during the daytime. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a flight review here, a short one, just so we can test out the camera. And then I'll come back here in the evening right before dark, or maybe even after dark, and do just a flight just to show you guys how the props look. Because I think I've flown it inside and the props just look amazing. That's going to be the real selling point for this drone, are those really awesome LEDs. So let's just go over the drone really quickly here in my hand, and then we'll get it up and test that footage. Now, this front camera, it says it's HD, and you have to manually tilt it however you'd want it to look. We're going to tilt it all the way up so that when we're flying forward, we're not looking straight at the ground all the time, though it still will. They advertise this as 4K, but there's no SD card in this, so the footage is all going to be coming from the Wi-Fi to the app on your phone and storing it there. So it's just going to upscale it. So this is going to be 720 or 1080p, but it's going to upscale on your phone to be a phony 4K to make it, you think that you're getting 4K, but it's not doing anything. If anything, it's making the image actually will look worse. So aside from that, it does have an optical flow camera right here, right next to the Wi-Fi antenna. And this, they said this is 1080p. So I assume you can actually switch to that camera maybe within the app and view that, but you're just be looking at the ground, which is sort of pointless unless you need to look down. But this this optical flow will work to hold position. It looks at the ground and it tries to keep whatever object it's seen in the field of view so the drone doesn't move a lot. It's sort of like a poor man's GPS, and you see that more and more, these optical flow on these cheaper drones. So this drone is, I think it's around $50 to $60, I believe. Don't hold me to that. So it's pretty nice that it does have that at this price point, along with the LED props. You know, just the button cell batteries, all that stuff adds to the price. Now you can see it's got some LEDs here, I believe these are white, in the front of the drone. And it also has them in the pods here next to the landing gear. So you got plenty of lights on this drone, which really is going to make it look cool. Now, let me show you, it does come with this carrying case. So it doesn't really come like in a box per se, it just comes this soft carrying case, and then you got your accessories inside of it. So let me show you what that stuff is. Now the battery for this guy is a 1S 3.7, I think Banggood. I'm going to pull up the app here in a moment and just go over it because they list all the information, but there's no actual milliamp per hour on that. But I believe it was 1800 milliamp, and looking at it, yes, 1800 milliamp LiPo here. So, you know, it does charge off of a micro USB cable, which they do give you in the little bag of accessories. So the little red light in there will go off whenever it's finished charging. And here is that bag. You've got your prop guards, that white micro USB cable for charging the battery. And they give you some spare props. They give you two, for one each clockwise and counterclockwise, but they don't have the LED strip. So I don't know if you could pull it off the other one. There's a spot for it, but it actually doesn't have it. So you may be sort of stuck, possibly, with, if you break a prop, with not having any LEDs. So, and then here is your controller. You've got your rates up here. excuse me, 360 flips here, your rates, your photo video. This is your left and right, your trim, your roll and pitch. This, I believe, is your gyro calibration, and this is your auto takeoff and auto landing on this guy. And I don't think there's any pressing in on the actual sticks. Your phone will actually go here in the bottom if you pull this out, like many of these cheap controllers. I'm not going to put my phone in there for the flight review because it presses the buttons on the sides of my phone and messes everything up. So I'm just going to probably set it off to the side. Oddly enough, the on and off here is mislabeled. Off is on and on is off. So that's funny, but not uncommon. And then your antennas here are phony. These are fake. There's no wire in here, so you do not need to even put these up. You can, but there's not gonna. It's just for looks. It doesn't actually do anything at all. So let's just go over the specs here real quick, and then I'll show you the instruction manual is all in Chinese. So it's a KY608. It's using 8620 brushed motors. As you guys can see, those are brushed, not brushless. They mentioned a 4K, 1800 milliamp hour battery, a 20-minute flight time, which I highly doubt. 70 minutes charge time, that's not too bad. 150-meter control distance and 100-meter high altitude, he says you can go up, which is pretty impressive if you could actually do that. So that's pretty much it on all the stuff that comes with this and the description. And I wanted to show you guys very briefly, again, the instruction manual is all in Chinese. So I've had to do some testing, and there may be some things that I'm a little uncertain about because I can't read Chinese. So, you know, if you bought this drone and you're stumped too, maybe this video will help you out just from my experience flying this stuff over the years of figuring some of this out. And the app is I'm gonna pull this up here on my phone. You're gonna scan this QR code here for Android or iOS, and the app is a HF UFO. You can see where it says HF there, but it doesn't actually say the full name, I don't believe. So thank goodness this QR code takes you to a Chinese website, then it redirects you and says if you want a Google Play, you press that. And it took me straight to the Google Play, and I was able to find it there. You know, link you directly to it. Otherwise you wouldn't know, because all you see is HF, and then boy, that's gonna make it hard to find the app for this guy. But again, this is all Chinese, so unfortunately, it's gonna make it a little harder, but we'll figure it out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video here. I got the table review, I guess you could say, the outside table review finished. So I'm going to bind it up, connect the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna go screen recording. Again, this is not really 4K. So the screen recording is gonna look just like the onboard footage saved to your phone, except for it'll have the app buttons and stuff in it. But that'll make it simpler. And we'll get that footage here and fly it around for a moment. There is a bit of wind today, but for the most part, I think it'll be okay to fly it out. It's very warm today. Most of the snow that fell a little over a week ago is all gone. So we'll fly it around, and then we'll conclude this video, bring it back, and do some night footage so we can see those really cool props, because that is the selling point. So guys, let me get that ready, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have the app connected and the controller bound. Before I go any farther, I want to show you there are some settings in the app. So I'll put this up at the screen recording right now. You can see you've got some control settings down here. They even got some update and some instructions. You can switch between like video 720p or 1080p. And I put it to 1080p, though it says that will reduce your range, which makes sense. It will probably drop out or break up sooner because of the increased bandwidth being used. Your English for your language, you have Dutch and French and Chinese, and some other follow me, different things you can turn on and off in the app. So just wanted to show you that, guys, really quick. Now let's see if we go into start, and we got the video up here. There we go. So I just actually bumped a few buttons. So I'm going to set my phone down here, and let's go ahead and get the drone up here. Let's start. Actually, we got recording video for the screen recording, so we don't need to start recording video. Let's try the auto takeoff and see if that works. Okay. The one thing I didn't do was the gyro calibration. I did that inside, but let me show you guys. Let's go ahead and land it. The gyro calibration was that press here. And I believe that go ahead and did it. Now let's go ahead and, you couldn't see the lights flash outside, but I believe that was the gyro calibration. Now that is, let's go up in the rates here. There we go, there's 3 rates. Now at the lowest rate, that wind kicked up and I couldn't fight that. The wind does kick up at times, and the little brushed motors are going to struggle. So I'm going to keep it here close until the wind lets up. So I don't know exactly how the video looks, of course, because I'm not looking at the screen at the moment. So we'll have an idea here. You guys will see how it works. So there we go. Ooh, is it gonna take off? All right, guys, so I went and recovered. It crashed over there in the neighbor's driveway. I don't know if I hit the lowest rate or what, but it did. I couldn't get it to come back because that wind kicked up. But I don't know why the bottom lights keep flashing, but everything seems fine. So I don't know, you know, if that's just what it was doing all along. I didn't notice it because it's hard to see those LEDs down there. It's sort of odd if they flash. But anyway, we're just testing the camera out. So let's get it back up in the air. And then obviously we'll wrap this video up with some nighttime footage so you guys can see those really cool props. You can just give this drone throttle and then go ahead and just give it throttle again and it'll take off. So it seems pretty stable. You see, it's not like, you know, whoa, geez. All right, guys, I'm back. So as you guys saw, the drone flew off over there. I brought it back over. I put it down on the ground. Everything was connected, seemed working fine. I took off there and flew it around. He said there's a little wind at times. So this is not a day you could not fly a drone like this. You just have to sometimes be patient and hold it against the wind, you know, fight the wind until it lets up, then you can fly it around. It just comes in small gusts. But as you guys saw there, it just flipped and fell to the ground. Now, the props are all damaged. They were not damaged like this after it flew over there and landed in the neighbor's driveway. But it, when I brought it over here and started flying it, then it just flipped over and then it kept smashing into the ground. I picked it up and as I let it go, it just would flip and fall again. So at that point, the props are severely damaged. Now I could replace these, but then again, I don't know if I can replace the LEDs on the bottom. So it kind of defeats the purpose of this whole video now. So unfortunately, guys, you can see like right here, the button cell batteries flew out. I can put a new one in there. But it's just all severely damaged. These props are going to be super shaky and cause jello now, and everything's going to be way out of balance. So this drone is, end of the day, what I'm getting to, this drone is junk, absolute junk. Now, I flew it around in my house the other day, and the LEDs just look amazing. So I have to apologize. I wasn't able to show you guys the LEDs spinning, but I thought I would get this filmed, come back, do the flight review at night, and then you guys could see these fantastic LEDs, because the LEDs were super cool. The only reason to buy this drone would be for that. But if it's going to fly like that, because I was in the highest rate, as you guys know, and as it flew over there, it just all of a sudden I couldn't get it. It didn't want to even fight the wind. Now maybe, like I said, I bumped the bumper and I was in the lowest rate possibly. I don't think I did. But reviewing the footage, I should be able to see if I did, because you'll hear the audible beep if I bumped the rates. But anyway, when I brought it back over here, it just didn't fly. It flew fine for a moment, but why it flipped is almost like a gyro malfunction or something. I did calibrate the gyro again after that, and it refused to actually fly right after that. Now, I've not tried it again here since everything's so damaged, but I had to end up pulling the battery, because I've tried reaching in here and pressing the power button and it wouldn't turn off. So I had to actually reach in here, squeeze these tabs, and then slide the battery back like that to power the drone off. It refused to power off. So that's what I had to do to actually just get it to stop work, you know, stop spinning the motors. So end of the day, this thing's junk. I mean, the optical flow seemed, I took off, it seemed sort of stable. Optical flow did seem to work. It held position the best it could with small wind gusts. Again, it's not super windy today. And it's a nice day here in the winter. It's gonna rain tomorrow. I had to take advantage of today, but what I'm getting to is this drone is crap. Don't buy this drone. Even if you want to see the LEDs, which are the only really cool thing I can tell you about this, because that did work well, it's not worth the risk. If it does like what it did to me, where it either flew off or worse, it flips and starts crashing to the ground, it's just not worth the risk. Again, maybe that was the result of that crash, but why did it fly fine for me for, you know, a minute or so of whatever that was before all of a sudden just flipped itself? The way it flipped is typically what you see when a drone throws a prop. if a prop flies off the drone, it's going to flip and crash into the ground. Well, that was not the case. The props were all attached and we were fine at that point. They might have been slightly scuffed, but not enough to cause any kind of problem. As you can see now, they're mangled. This one's really badly damaged here. And this one's pretty bad scuffed. This one's completely split. And it wasn't like that, I don't believe, when I brought it over here. And it wouldn't have flown fine and then all of a sudden flipped if the prop was damaged from the get-go. So, end of the day, guys, don't buy this. Not worth the risk. These toys drones from China, unless it's a little bitty, inexpensive $10, $20 drone to fly around your house, that's fine. But anything up in this $50, $60 range, you're almost certainly going to have it's not going to be worth the risk. Get one off Amazon, or better yet, just spend some money on something better. Unless you just want a little toy to fly around your house, then you can. There's no problem taking a risk on a Banggood or eBay or some drone from China if it's really, really cheap. But this one, I like the LEDs, thought it might be a cool gimmick, and the LED on the props were, but again, it's just not worth the risk. All right, guys. Unfortunately, I know this video will probably get a lot of thumbs down because you didn't get to see the LEDs, but it's not really, I can't do anything about that. So, all right, appreciate you guys watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. While you're at it, click that bell. That way you know every time I do upload a new video. As always, guys, have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.